have we'll have the short prayers, okay? Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So, Hare Krishna, children. Good morning. Being happy to see all of you again, and especially Sunday mornings. So many of you are attending. It's a great interest. And there's many times Sunday morning we want to sleep a lot or have a cool, comfortable time. But all of you are interested students, so that shows you are interested to learn those things. So let us begin with a short story. All of you like stories, okay? So which is relevant to our this today's topic, which will make it clear. Okay, I'll just share the screen of the story, and then you can see that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're able to see the story screen here. Okay. 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 Thank you. So all of you want to become a great scientist. We want to become a great scholars, or we want to get lot of knowledge into our life, isn't it? We want to study more and more. We want to go abroad, or we want to become masters or the doctors or whatnot. We have a lot of ambitions. Okay. So the knowledge required for that is very, very important. So let's see what is the purpose of real knowledge. Okay, so the story Srila Prabhupada explains very beautifully. Okay, the title is The Scholar and the Boatman. Okay, so one day a man who was very scholarly was returning from the city and he wanted to cross the river. Okay, so he came, he wanted to return to the city, he wanted to cross, for going there, he wanted to cross the river. How to cross the river? Boatman will help it, correct? Hey, boatman, will you take me to the other side of the village? He's asking. Okay. Yes, sure. I'm waiting here for taking passengers to the other side only because this is his occupation. This is his business to take the passenger from one side to another. Okay. The scholar gets into the boat and the boatman starts rowing the boat. Okay. So that man, he was a very scholarly. As you see the picture here, he was having a good specs, nice coat and shirt and things. Okay. He was a very learned. Maybe you can say the engineer or doctor, something like that. And the boatman was like simply rowing the boat for him to take across. Okay. The scholar was very happy returning after a long time and he starts talking with the boatman. My dear boatman, do you know what is astronomy? How these stars are moving? So this scholarly person asking to boatman, do you study the astronomy? The skies, the stars in the sky, do you know about that? He's asking. None at all, sir. I just row this boat across the river. He said, I don't know anything. I just do the business of rowing the boat. Who studies all those things? I don't know. They proceeded on for a few moments. Oh, then your 25% of life is wasted. You do not know anything. So the scholarly man is telling to boatman that you did not study those subjects, then your life is waste. How much? 25%. Okay. You know the meteorology? Do you know standard temperature and pressure to calculate the wind velocity or a storm or all those things? Like all of you also study in your science, the velocity is how much, the mass is how much, the physics or the temperature or chemistry, all those things. So he's asking to boatman in a similar tone. Do you know all those things? Have you studied about this? And again, poor boatman says, no, sir, I am a poor man. I don't know what do you mean, what you are saying about all those things. Okay. Oh, then your 50% of life is waste, is lost. You have not studied all the subject is useless. Your subject is, your life is of no use. 50% of life is waste. Then, then he asks, okay, do you know at least mathematics? Have you studied mathematics? How to do addition, subtraction, or like integration, or whatever you studied in the schools or things? With all these dark clouds coming in over us, do we have any idea what a graph of storm probably would look like? Then he's showing his the graph maths and all those things. Do you know all those things how is going to come? Basically what you are understanding, the scholarly man wanted to show himself that how he is so learned, and the poor boatman again says, none at all, sir. I just rowed this boat across the river. I never ever studied anything. Then that scholarly person says, oh, your 75% of your life is lost. You're useless. Your 75% of life is waste. Okay. And then let's see what happens. Then there suddenly there was a black clouds on the sky and there was a storm. Sir, the boatman is asking now, do you know how to swim? Do you know the swimming in the river? The boatman is asking to scholarly man. Scholarly man says, oh, I don't know how to swim. You see his eyes and his face and all. Because they're seeing the storm and the rains are coming, the clouds are there on the head. Because it's going to very heavy rains now, the boat is going to get toppled. And the boatman is asking to scholar now, sir, do you know about how to swim? And then he says, no, sir. The boatman jumped off the water to save his life. Then you lost your life 100%. You are going to get drowned. Okay, so the boatman is telling to scholarly man, you're wasted your life. It's no use. Sir, we'll have to swim the rest of the way to save our lives. We cannot be getting across. The scholar started drowning and shouted for the help. The boatman swam across the river bank. And then the Prabhupada explains very wonderfully the lesson. Whatever else we may learn in our life journey, there is one thing we all need to know: how to cross over how to reach to the spiritual world. Therefore, West technology science can analyze the things and perhaps makes our journey comfortable here. But then it doesn't necessitate to take us. But if those things, those education help us to connect with the God, to take us to the spiritual world, then it is meaningful. So I hope all of you understood the story, the moral of the story. Okay. So it's very, very important. The purpose of our education is what? For what purpose we are taking the education into our life? If our education is not helping us to become more better, to become more and more clear, then it is, where that education is of no use. That's the main lesson Prabhupada wanted to teach us. So let's see then what is the real education, what is the real knowledge. That's our today's topic is the divine knowledge. Okay. So yeah. So what is the meaning of the word education? So if you see last time also we had discussed the education, it comes from the Latin word educare, educare. And the meaning of the educare is what? To bring out the good potential what is there within us, to bring out the good things what is there within all of us. And if you remember the last week we discussed what is our real identity, what is our that blissful identity. Anybody knows what we discussed last week? Let's see who can remember. What is our blissful identity? Who we are? Yeah, very good. What is our blissful identity? Yeah, correct. Many of you are writing. Good, good. Nice. The soul. We are not only this body, but we are a soul. So the purpose of education is what? To bring out our real identity. Like how we are not only this body, but we are a soul. And the education should make us connect with the God. Education should help us to connect soul back with the God. But if that is not happening, then the purpose of the education is lost. Correct? So that's how it's very, very important to understand. And we'll see some of the more points in this regard. Okay. So all of you know this true north. where they use this term true north, anyone can say? You are able to see in the picture, okay? Where do you see the true north? Anyone knows? This true north compass. Anyone have any idea? Yeah, it's a compass which shows the, very good, the sailors. Some of the students are writing now, the sailors. Okay, those who have doubts, you can just put into the chat box. At the end, we'll take the doubts. Don't worry. You just focus on the presentation right now. Okay. Otherwise, in terms of discussion only, you'll forget the for what purpose we are discussing those things. And most of your doubts will be solved if you just pay attention. You keep a note of your doubts. If it's not solved, you put it into the chat box. Keep at the end. So this true north compass is used by the sailors to give the direction for the boat. Okay, all of you know the ocean. Boats, they cross the ocean. And Prabhupada himself, he traveled by the Jalduta boat. He went to America through India by the boat. The boat name was Jaldut. Okay. So the boat in the ocean, there is no indicators. I mean, in the ocean, you don't get any kind of a checkpoints. Okay, this side is a this gully, this side is a this street. No. Whereas on the roads you travel, we have a lot of checkpoints. We have GPS available for the road maps, but there is no GPS available for the ocean, and there is no checkpoint. So how will you drive your boat? What is your direction for the boat? Then that's where the true north compass helps. That compass shows what is a true north direction. You are getting the point? So same thing in this world also. This world is compared to the ocean. It's so difficult in the sense so many things are there in this world. Then how to understand which direction we should take in our life, how to go in a proper direction. That's why we require true north compass also for our life. And what is that true north compass for our life? That is this divine knowledge, our today's topic. That divine knowledge comes from Vedas or the scriptures. They gives us this divine knowledge. But if you don't take this true north compass and lead our life based on that, then we'll not get the true direction. We'll get confused. The boat will get carried away. I hope you're understanding the analogy. Okay. Or to give another example, you are seeing here in the picture, the manual. The purpose of the manual is what? To understand how to operate with the machine. You're getting? So imagine if I don't refer to the manual, then I will not understand only how to access that machine to the best of its use. Okay. And not understanding its purpose, not understanding that thing, at the best I can underutilize it. Like last time also I was giving example. Let's say we have this phone. If I don't know what is the purpose of this phone and if I don't study the manual or if I don't learn from the manufacturer, I can keep this phone whole my life just like a paperweight on the table. Then that's not much intelligent use. The purpose of the phone is to communicate, to chat, or to use so many things. Now we have smartphones also, correct? It's much better use is there. So same thing, our life also, if you don't refer to the manual for our life, what our life is consist of, what happens into our life based on what things, why good things, why bad things, and what are the good things, what are the bad things. All that knowledge is given in the manual for our life. And that manual is Vedas, the scriptures. And to be more precise, the essence of all scriptures is Bhagavad Gita. And I'm sure all of you are having Bhagavad Gita copy with all of you. So that's why it's very important to refer to the manual, to the true compass, so that they gives us the right direction for our life. So can someone reply, my voice is coming well? Because many are writing voice is not clear.
Coming. Yes, Prabhu, coming.
Okay, thank you. So those who are not able to hear, just make sure you have a good range and you are having a good, you can check your volume level, because many are replying it's coming well. Okay, thank you. So with this understanding, we'll begin how this divine knowledge is so user friendly for our life. Without knowing that, we stand to lose ourselves. So then what is the difference between this Vedic knowledge and the modern knowledge, correct? We have our modern knowledge also. We go to our school and we study. It starts with Baba, Black Sheep, or ABCD, or 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We begin with all those things. And now we are studying the science or maths and all those subjects, correct? So what is the difference between this modern knowledge, what we call, and the Vedic knowledge, the text in the ancient time, the guru in the Gurukul used to teach to the students. Now we go to the schools, ancient time, the children were going to the Gurukul, and there the guru used to teach them the Vedas. So what it differs, why we require the Vedic knowledge additionally, and we have already a lot of subjects with us, isn't it? All of you will have a lot of loads of your subjects, maths, science, physics, chemistry. So many things will be, all of you will be loaded, correct? Then why we require this additional Vedic knowledge? These are some of the points we thought to discuss. So people, those who follow the Vedic knowledge in their life, you check their lifestyle. Because they followed Vedic knowledge, they are good at their habits and they have developed a very good character into their life. Because Vedic knowledge deals with not only for the body, but it deals about our soul also. Whereas the modern knowledge, the people, because of not understanding the science of soul or our true blissful identity, what we studied last time, they don't care for the soul. So anyone can give me an example last time we studied. One example, one analogy. People who forget to care for the soul, they're just caring for the body only. One analogy, one example we had discussed last time. Okay, good. Very nice. In your booklet also that question is there kept. Yeah, very good. The parrot and the cage, correct? So the modern education, what it is helping us, it is just helping us how to care for this cage, how to make our cage more nice, more golden, more better. But they are not caring for the bird inside, the parrot inside. That is the soul. That is a main difference between the modern education and Vedic education. So please try to understand when we discuss the comparison, we are not saying that modern education is useless. Okay, like we're using this modern technology only, isn't it? We're using computers, mobiles, all of your studying your things and all, correct? So modern education is not useless, but modern education which does not bring out our good identity, which does not bring out about our God consciousness, then that is to be condemned. That is not good. Okay, I hope you are able to understand. So the Vedic education, it gives us a wholesome, it helps for the body also, and it helps for the soul also. Whereas modern education, which is devoid of God consciousness, it just is helping for the soul only. I mean, for the body only. It's neglecting the soul. That's why we see people, because of not having that foundational principles of the soul or the life or the God, then the habits are not developed and the character doesn't form out properly. Okay, so that's the main point we have to understand. Let's proceed. And that's how we see in the modern times. Man thought, especially the modern man who doesn't believe on God, who neglect the God, they thought that we can become happy without God also. And that's how they are developed. You see here in the picture, nice swimming pools, nice car, nice house, nice bungalows, nice facilities, right? And that's why he thought if you have only money with us and if you have comfort into our life will be happy. We can enjoy our life. But then what is the situation of a modern man? All of you see this kind of emotions in the people, or sometimes many of us, we also experience too many studies, too many assignments, so much tension, so much pressure. There are entrance exams, right? So much competition is there. And not only in schools, what we experience, even in the, we can ask our parents or things, right? There, even while they go to the companies, they have so much pressure. They have so much depression. Yeah, correct. It leads us to the so much competition. Then is this the purpose of modern education? What is happening? The crime rate is increasing so much. The Western countries for which we think of, like let's say New York or London and all those things, they have so much modern education is developed with them. But what's the point? The crime rate is so much. The countries are so much disturbed. This modern epidemic came, but it created a damage. Nobody could help using their technology. So what is happening? So that's how we have to understand. The body is being taken care, cage is being taken care, but we forgot to feed the bird. We forgot the soul inside. And that's why the consequences of that, it comes out in this way. The people get tension, depression and all. That divine knowledge is missing out from our life. So that's how we have to understand. And this comparison we have made. How the modern novel books, okay, some of you may be interested. At the last, if you see bottom, We have given you example of, let's say we like to read Harry Potter, or we like to read so many modern novel books, okay? And there are some ancient textbooks like Ramayana, okay, or it's kind of a Mahabharata or Bhagavad Gita. What happens between if you study one and the other? So the comparison we have made. So modern novel books, the author's character is doubtful. We don't know the person who wrote the book, what kind of habits he have, what kind of character he have. If let's say the drunkard writes the books, what he will write? Drinking is very nice. All of you can drink very nicely. You can enjoy your life. Then what's the point of reading that book? Everybody will become drunkard only. So that should not be the point. Whereas the Vedic texts are being written, they are being written by the great people who have a great character, people who possess that good qualities with their life. Okay. And then what is the motive of the modern text, the modern books the people have been writing, novels and all? They just want money, or they want some kind of fame or entertainment. That is only their business. And then that's why so many wrong, rubbish things also they write in the books. So, but the Vedic textbooks, the purpose is what? As a welfare for the people, the upliftment of the society, to bring out the good character from the each and everyone's life and connect to the God ultimately. With that whole and soul purpose, all the Vedic texts are being written. So that is another difference. And the third, the modern knowledge, which is devoid of the God and things, what happens by that? What is the effect on the audience or the people? Not much. Or rather, it creates a negativity. Like I remember when we were small, our childhood days, maybe close to 15, 20 years back, the Shaktiman movie had came, Shaktiman serial had came, Shakti, Shakti, Shaktiman, that kind of things you might have heard of. And then when they were showing that things on the television, many people, they tried to do thinking that, oh, I'll also become Shaktiman. I can eat some biscuits or some drink, I will become Shaktiman. And they also jumped from the building, and many students, they got injured also seriously. So this is the effect of the modern things, you see. Whereas the ancient things, if you read, that brings out the good values, that brings out the good culture, that brings out the wonderful personality out of them by reading those episodes from the scriptures. So that is another difference. And then the modern books and all, there's multiple editing. So many times they change the text, so many times they edit the things and all. But the Vedic texts are permanent. They're not, once it is written, they're absolute. They're not changed. That's not like something changed again or something like that. They're forever. They're for all the time. Like Ramayana, we don't see the new edition is coming. Okay, fine. The modern people who are atheistic, they bring out something wrong out of Ramayana for just for the sake of business or money. But we don't see actually the people are living with their life. Still they worship Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman, Radha, Krishna, right? Lakshmi Narayan, all those gods. So that's the difference. Then modern things becomes boring after few readings. Or let's say you watch a movie, you go for the movie, after one or two trials, it becomes so boring. Once again, you want to say, oh, finish, what is this? I know things, it becomes boring. But today also, let's say if you want to discuss Ramayana, how many of you like to discuss Ramayana once again? All of you know the Ramayana, correct? I'm sure. But if I say, let's say we are starting a Ramayana class now, how many of you like to discuss, want to attend the Ramayana things? You see, right? We like how, from where this liking is coming. Because we are connected, we're all children of God, we're all associated with the God. That gives us so much bliss, that gives us so much joy, that is a true happiness. So that never ever becomes boring for us. And what is a proof? You see, recently because of this lockdown, on the TV channel, they were giving the Mahabharat serial and Ramayana serial. All of you saw? Many of you might have seen with your parents and all, correct? But you see, still people are watching. In our childhood, 20, 25 years back, those serials were there. But still today also people are sitting with a great interest to look, correct? Why? Because that gives the true enlightenment. That brings out the true joy. And then another interesting difference between the modern readings, the modern things, and the ancient scripture is what? If we spend our time for watching such movies or watching such literature, that simply causes the bondage. It will simply drain our mental energy. It will waste our time and we'll lose the concentration. And simply at the end of the day, it will be the big zero. Nothing in the hand. Only the imaginative things are shown on the movies. There is nothing reality. And that is nothing bring out the good things only. So bondage means it's bringing us the knot. It makes us the things kind of stuck to this worldly things only. We don't become like a bird is bonded. bird is trapped in the cage. Like that, the bondage is given on the our life also. It causes the mental tension. Like let's say after coming from movies, people they sleep because they're tired. Mental energy gets drowned. Mental energy gets distracted. And then so you see when you sit for the study after that, it takes a great amount of time to put the concentration because we're just thinking of the movie again and again and again. Right? But then when we read the novel books, when we read the scriptures and all, that brings out the liberation. Liberation means that gives us the freedom. That makes the person fearless because he develops the great faith on God. Whereas you watch a movie where they show the some horror or things and all, and then you go on the road alone, will be afraid to go because that causes so much fear. Whereas the children's, the Gurukulis, like we have in Mayapur, in Calcutta, there are Gurukulis there. So small children's of the age of 5 to 10 years, right in the early morning, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, they walk to the forest, they get the water, they fetch, fearless. How this comes? Because they develop the faith on God by studying those scriptures, by discussing about God. So that's why we can make a good plan into our life, that we should never ever waste our time into unnecessarily reading the books which are not good for us, which are not at all just for the sake of time pass. Like let's say some of you do the train journey, okay, and many times the people they open the novels, they read the newspaper and all, and after some time they go to sleep. They become bored. The paper also goes to the raddi only. It's of no use. Tomorrow it's of no use. Again the new paper is printed. So those news, those things don't bring out any good things. That is not a divine knowledge. But whereas a divine knowledge, you study the Ramayana, you study Bhagavad Gita, all of you are such wonderful children. You have taken the Bhagavad Gita with all of you. Correct? So you study Bhagavad Gita, understand Arjuna's situation, understand Mahabharata and things and all. It will bring out such enlightenment into our life. And just to give you one good news, after this year exam, we're going to start wonderful series on Lord Krishna's episode also for all of you, so that you can learn wonderful principles for our life. Okay, so that's how we can check. We're going for movie, we're going for anything. Is it really required? Or why not to then use that time to study about Ramayana, to study about Lord Krishna, to study about Bhagavad Gita. It will bring out, like let's say the Sanskrit, if you study, it makes our vocabulary so pure. If you have a habit of reciting shlokas, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha. And there are so many wonderful shlokas. Sarvasya Chaham Mrudi Sannivishto Matta Smritirgyanam Apohanam Cha Vedaischa Sarvairahameva Vedyo Vedanta Krudveda Videva Chaham. You see, I mean, it brings out such wonderful wisdom, and if you know the translation, that's too, it will bring out such close connection with God. So we should make our time, instead of going for such things, we can recite wonderful shlokas, we can read the message of Bhagavad Gita, and then surely that will make us fearless. That will bring out the true confidence. And no matter then whatever challenge, difficulties come, that divine knowledge will come like an asset for all of us. All of you know in the ancient times, like let's say Arjuna's picture, you see, behind the back there is a quiver, okay? Quiver means in which they keep the arrows, so that when they are fighting, they can remove that arrows and fight. Now in the modern situation also we require arrows, but not the arrows what like Arjuna is having. We require the arrows of the divine knowledge. So if you have the asset here, the divine knowledge, the quiver is here. The divine knowledge should be stored in our intelligence. The intelligence becomes more sharpened when we study the scriptures. Then when that divine knowledge is there with us, then that comes like a weapon for us. Then we'll able to overcome the difficulties, overcome the challenges, overcome all the problems or things like that. Okay, so that's how the Arjuna practiced, and he gathered so many arrows. That's why he became victorious. So for all of us, we are children, we are in school days. Okay, so now we acquire this divine knowledge for our life and acquire those assets for ourselves. It will come out a wonderful source for us for the time to come. And you grow to the college or the tuitions or things. We go alone from the family, away from, like we're staying in hostels, wherever we are, that assets, that knowledge will help us like a weapon for our life. You can keep a note of this. Okay. And then how this divine knowledge works? This divine knowledge is like a mother. Okay, one more example is being presented. So what two analogies we discussed till now for divine knowledge? Can anyone recall? What two analogies, what two example we saw for the divine, how divine knowledge helps us? At the beginning, I showed you the two stories. Like what? It's like this. In another, it's like this. Okay, the story of boatman. Yeah, that is the story. Yeah, correct. One student here he has written the true north compass. Correct. And one more. Yeah, it's an instruction manual for us. Okay, so these two example all of you can remember. They are like a true north compass for us and instruction manual for us. And here one more, the third example we are giving. The Vedas are like our mother. Okay. Now here you see the child. Okay. If child wants to know about his mother, how will come to know? If he says, I'll do the experiment, DNA testing and all those things, it will take so much amount of time. But if you just ask his mother, mother will give him all the understanding, everything, correct? So the same way, if we approach to our mother, our true mother, that is, then scriptures will give us everything, whatever is required for our life. Scriptures are filled with such amazing facts. We're going to show you now. You'll be shocked what not the scriptures are going to give for our life. Will become such amazing way. So that's why they are like a true mothers for us. And then mother guides us to our father. The father is like a God. So that true GK. GK means not general knowledge. Modern education gives us only general knowledge in the worldly sense. But the Vedic knowledge gives us the God's knowledge. GK. Okay, you can remember. So then that's the another example. And how Vedic knowledge works into our life. Here is an example given. Like we go to the schools and institutes, right? We have professors there, we have teachers, and we have libraries also. The same way in Vedic knowledge also, there are Gurukulas, where the gurus are the professors, the spiritual masters, the teachers, they are professors. And the standard textbooks, the library for Gurukula is like what? The Bhagavad Gita or Ramayana or Mahabharata. So same thing, how technical knowledge we learn, the Vedic knowledge also can be learned. So if you really want to become masterful, you really want to become hero into the life, take to the Vedic knowledge and you see how it will bring out such wonderful character for our life. Like Arjuna became successful. That's the power of that Vedic knowledge. Okay, and then what is another interesting definition you can remember? The knowledge means what? To know MSc. Okay, MSc means what? Can anybody tell? You know, there is an engineering, doctor, like that MSc is also there. Anyone knows? What is MSc means? Okay, MSc means they say the Master of Science. MSc, yeah. So it's not actually Master of Science, but the true knowledge means what? Here we have made an acronym for all of you. Yeah, you can remember. Actual knowledge means what? We should be MSc. We should know all those three things. And what are those three things? Here you'll see. First, the matter. Okay. The second, the spirit. And the third, the controller of both. MSc. So the matter means what? We just study about this world. Okay. This world around. What the world is, what are the machines are, and what the elements are. That is all about the study of matter. But we should not stop our studies only at the point of matter. That is a problem of the modern education. We should go to the spirit also to understand the soul, to understand the God, to understand the consciousness. All those things comes under the spirit. And who is a controller of both? Who is controlling the matter? Who is controlling the spirit? That is above all, that is God. That is Lord Krishna. And Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, you can check 7.4 shloka. Bhumirapo analo vayu khammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti rashtada. Lord is telling all the matter, earth, water, fire, air, ether. Not only that, even the mind, intelligence, ego, everything belongs to me only. They are my energies. Okay. And not only that, even the next shlokas, if you see 1, 2 shlokas, he says, all other living entities also, they are also my energies. And to give example, Lord says in the 7.4, 5, 6, 7, 7.7 shloka, you can check. It says, Mattaha parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam proktam sutre manigana iva. So this is a divine knowledge. Lord is directly telling that how everything is resting upon me only. And the Lord is giving example of pearls, right? We wear the neck beads. How all pearls are staying together here? Can anybody tell? We have the neck beads, okay? There are many pearls will be there in that. How all the neck beads will be kept together? Yeah, there is a thread. But is the thread is visible? No, but still we tell that there is a common thread. So same way the Lord gives the example. You can read 7.7. The example Lord is telling, all this world is resting upon me only, just like the pearls are resting upon thread. So that's how, that will make us our knowledge complete. MSC, the matter, we should study about the world. That's how the modern education helps. But Vedic education doesn't give only about the matter, but it gives the most important thing, the spirit, the soul, the Atma, then the God, and then ultimately the controller of both. So we have to check, are we really learned? Are we really become educated based on what is level of our knowledge? Okay, you can take a note of this. And then we see how this knowledge is coming from. Knowledge, Krishna himself gives. One shloka I said you about 7.7. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, there also it says, Janmadhyasya yataha, from whom everything emanates. The Vedic knowledge is given by Lord Krishna first to Brahma. Brahma is the first engineer of the world, who designed this world, who made the earth, the heavens and the hells, all those structures. So Brahma gave the knowledge to, Krishna gave knowledge to Brahma. And then down the line in a disciplic succession, all this divine knowledge is coming. Brahma gave to Narad, Narad gave to Vyas, Vyas gave to all other teachers down the line. This is called as a divine knowledge, knowledge coming in a disciplic succession. Okay. And 5,000 years ago, Vyasadeva, okay, all of you can remember his name, Vyasadeva, who is author of all the Vedas, who is none other than God himself. He is a literary incarnation of God. Okay. He written down all the scriptures for us. Because before, children were so intelligent, people were so smart, just by discussing once, they will remember everything. They'll remember what story we discussed, what shloka we quoted, and what are the points. But nowadays, our memory is less. We forget. Oh, what was the story in the beginning of session? Who can remember? Oh, what is the example we discussed before? It takes some time for us to recall, and most of the time we forget. So because of our Kali Yuga people of this age who have a less memory, the Vyasdev has written down those things, and that's how we have the book now in front of us. We have Bhagavad Gita with us, correct? So that's how the knowledge, this divine knowledge, is coming in the form of these books. And this is a division. How this divine knowledge is so vast, it's so broad, it gives all the understanding of the world around. That makes us the true engineer. Okay, whereas a modern education just helps us to become an engineer of the body only. And that too, it creates so many problems. I showed you in the slides. It causes so much tension, depression, and everything. Whereas divine knowledge brings out the true wisdom. It brings out the true bliss from our life, correct? And these are the examples. Now, what this Vedic knowledge talks about God, but it helps us to live in this world also very nicely, very happily. To give an example, here you see, like Ayurveda. Okay, all of you heard of Ayurveda? It gives us the medicine for us, the natural medicine. Whereas modern, the modern medicines we try to take, allopathies and all, it will create so much side effects also sometime, and we're not sure of, right? And it surely creates, if you have regular habit of taking allopathies, the tablets and all, then afterwards the body becomes, because they're all chemicals, they're not good for a long time. Whereas Ayurveda, it creates naturally for us. Take a natural herb. Let's say I get some cut here, you put a turmeric, very simple, it gets set, right? So that's how Ayurveda, that's another important science. Then yogas and asanas and pranayams, right? The exercise and all. Now modern day, the people, they go into the gym. Okay, all of you know the gym, students? In the school also, they generally keep the gym. You know the gym, okay? They go there with the dumbbells and there will be like a push-ups and things and all. But what happened, you know, if you make a habit of going to the gym, our body will become so stiff. Afterwards, it will become very, very difficult. And to give an example, the greatest fighter, last time I showed you also, his name was Muhammad Ali. Okay. So he was so powerful champion, but later he got a disease called as Parkinson. His body becomes completely paralyzed because body doesn't support such heavy things. Whereas you do yogas, the Surya Namaskar or the pranayams like inhaling, exhaling and all those practices, the body becomes flexible. It brings out the good, what we say, the good flexibility where we can adapt very easily. Whereas the stiff body, it breaks down quickly. So that is a modern education, I mean, modern gym system, which makes us completely problem. Whereas yogas, asanas, pranayams, they makes us more and more better. And Vastu Shastra, another interesting science, which helps us how we should construct our house, which direction should be the door, which direction we should have our Lord's place also, which direction we should do the pujas and all those things, so that all the good things comes, because there are certain direction through which the demons or the rakshasas they come, and there are another direction through which the devatas they come. So we want good things into our life, isn't it? So Vastu Shastra helps. Now modern civil engineering, they help us to make a house nicely, but they will not tell where the devatas are coming and where the demons are coming. Correct? This is the main problem. So whereas Vedic knowledge, they don't only help us to construct the good things, but they tells in which direction we should construct, what should be the height, and where, how should we go. That is called as Vastu Shastra. And all of you know, there is a, in Delhi, near Delhi, there is one iron, what do you say, that pole, which helps, that pole till now, it is not rusted. It is made up of iron, but still it is not rusted. It is so long years back, so many centuries back. How is it possible? If you keep iron into the outside exposed, easily it get rusted. But what kind of that iron pillar they made? Correct? All of you know. Yeah, right. All of you are writing here. So that's how is it possible? So they had even much more technology than even modern people also. To give an example, can somebody tell what was a plane name of Lord Ram? After killing Ravana, Lord Ram took that plane and traveled to Ayodhya. What is that plane name, aeroplane name? You can write into the chat box. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, it's that plane name is Pushpak Viman. Okay, yeah. And anybody knows what is the specialty of that Pushpak Viman? Okay, all of you are writing now, correct? Okay, gold. No. What is the specialty of that? Okay, it flies, of course. That's why it is Viman, it will fly. But what is the specialty of that? It flies like a sphinx. It can accommodate how many people? It can fit unlimited. So the specialty of the Pushpak Viman was, let's say there are 2 members only in the plane. It will become the size exactly for 2 members. If let's say there are 100 members, it will expand to the size of 100 members. If there are, so that's how after when Ravana was killed, even all the monkeys, they wanted to come back with Lord Ram. They don't wanted to separate from Lord. They wanted to come with the Lord only. So monkeys were, how many in number? 10 to the power of 71. Right? We write 10 to the power of 2 becomes 100, 10 to the power of 3 becomes 1000. The monkey soldier strength was 10 to the power of 71. And all those monkeys, along with Lord Ram, Mother Sita, Lakshman, everybody, they boarded that plane and they all traveled to the Ayodhya. So that is how now modern planes and all, I mean, great risk. The weather is not good and all, they cannot fly also. So many plane accidents and things happens. So how is it possible? Because all that science, even the airplane design also is being taken from our Vedic knowledge only. Or when you go for your engineering studies and all, you will study the mathematics, the integration, or the what we say, the Laplace series and the Fourier series. All those terms will get. That also is being made by Madhvacharya, who is Acharya in our Madhva Sampradaya. All the knowledge, the great famous mathematician, right? What is his name? Who is a great mathematician from India? Last time also I had asked, I think. Yeah, Aryabhatta, Ramanujan, correct, right? Ramanujan, one especially I was looking for. Shakuntala Devi, correct. So all those people, how they develop such a mastery of their subject. Now we want to become mathematician. Why we are not able to? We get confused. We sometimes forget the tables also. But if you study the Vedic mathematics, it gives such a fine tricks to do the multiplication, to do the divisions and all. So that is a power of that Vedic knowledge. Okay. So unfortunately, that knowledge is not being taught. We find that Vedas are of no use, but Vedas, they gives us complete knowledge. And that's how it brings all the families also together. You see how the cultural families, they stay together and all. Whereas the modern education is separating the families. It's simply making the distance. There is no joint family nowadays. It becomes the nucleus. We have to travel to the village to go to our grandparents and all. because we have to stay here for our job, correct? Family becomes separated, and then the culture gets lost. But the Vedic knowledge, Vedic culture is so, like, we all love, right? We all love to be go to our village, stay happily, be with the grandparents and all together, joint family. But modern things is a great challenge. It gets separated. And there are so many other sciences, the embryology. Okay, all of you know how the baby is born. The mother has to bear the baby inside the womb for 9 months. So inside the baby, what happens to the baby for 9 months, that we cannot see from outside. Neither mother also knows. Mother also cannot tell what happens inside, right? But then the Vedas, they completely explain how the baby grows inside, what kind of after 15 days, after 1 month, after 2 months, after 4 months, after 9 months, and that's how the baby comes out. Complete knowledge is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. And all those marriage structure and the architecture, eco-friendly practices, right? So all those sciences are given. Plants have a life. Who gave this? Like here, that scientist photo also we have shown. Anyone knows who gave that science? The plants have life. Who is that scientist? Before people were, correct, very good. Many of you are writing. Before people were thinking that plants don't have life. Plants are dead only. But the scientist, his name is J.C. Bose, Jagdish Chandra Bose. He studied and then discovered that plants also have life. But Vedas already are telling, Jivo Jivasya Jivanam. All are living beings. One living being is a food for another living beings. And there is a life cycles. So that's the all complete knowledge is there into the Vedas. Astronomy, Vedas can predict. And that's how the proof here you see. Vedas can tell the future also, what is going to happen, who all the personalities are going to come, what are their appearance and all. Now modern education, can they predict? Now weather forecast says that, okay, fine, next 4 days the rains are going to continue. But now after one day the rain stopped. From last 3 days there are no rains, right? So it goes based on the moreover the guesswork, moreover the logic work. But the Vedas, they're the words of the God. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat paranitam. So directly they comes. So there is no wrong, there is no addition into the Vedic knowledge. So that's how complete amazing life balance is given into the Vedas. But the question can be asked, how can the Indians, especially in the modern days, we see people have forgot the respect for the Vedas. How did that happen? And all of you also can check and tell me, how many of you study the Vedas into your schools? Tell me. Practically most of the week, we don't get the knowledge of the Vedas into the school. Very few, yeah, some of you might be, but due to the modern culture and all, nobody is giving the Vedic knowledge. The Gita is not being taught. At least I remember when I was in the school days 20 years back, every day morning we used to have the Saraswati prayers. Weekly, once or 2 days before we all go from the school, we all used to gather, do the puja of the Saraswati, sing the prayers and play the instruments. And every day at the end of the school, we used to recite the prayers again from the Bhagavad Gita and all, and then used to leave. So all, even before taking food also, okay. In our school, our teacher used to make us compulsory. They used to make us to chant the prayers. Mukhi ghasa gheta karava vichara kashasati he annami sevinara. So this is in our local language. I am taking this food for what purpose? Who has given this food? So I should thank God. So these are the prayers. But nowadays, very few, they have their own tiffins, and teachers also don't care. Teachers are busy with their things and children are busy. So at least some of you are, your parents, maybe the teachers or things and all, or some of you are good students attending, just make sure you develop a habit. In Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, that shloka says, that also we sing before the taking food. Yadna shishta sina santo muchante sarva kilbishay bhunjate te tu agam papa ye pachante atma karanat. It says, if we thank God before taking food by folding our hands and remembering Him, then all the kind of whatever the wrong things have happened while cooking, some insects or things gets killed or things like that, everything gets cleared. And by taking that food, we get the better. We become the more and more better. Our consciousness become better. Whereas somebody who doesn't remember God, who doesn't offer food to the God before taking, then such person is considered as a thief. In the Bhagavad Gita it says, because you are taking from God, isn't it? All the food grains are coming from God only. There is no factory which produces the rice or grains. They are produced in the mother nature only. By the God rains and mother nature's ground it comes, and that's how we take. So can't we then we should thank God? So all this culture, how it gets deteriorated, how it got stopped. And nowadays the people doubt whether it is a mythology or it is a, I mean, is it really true? It might be myth. Who believed that airplane can expand or things can happen and all, right? Now we see we have technology, we're talking each other, although we're at distance places. If same technology, if you can explain to your grandparents and all, they will not believe, correct? Like I also remember when we were small, when I was in a sixth standard, that time, first time I saw the mobile. Before that, mobile was imaginative things for us. At least because we were in the village, we had never ever seen the mobile. The landline phone used to come, we used to be so happy. We were so delighted that landline phone is there. Or many houses, there were no phone. We used to go to the central STD booth and pay the money and get. But now you see the technology has developed. Although we can see each other, we can talk each other at a distance place. So Vedic knowledge also you practice, you apply, you'll be able to get the effect. The problem is the practice is destroyed. And why that happened? The root is being destroyed. The Britishers came, the Macaulay, you might have heard of his name. So when the Britishers came to India, they very strategically planned how we can take over to the Indian culture. They came to India, the Macaulay, he was being appointed by the British people to study about the India so that we can conquer. Because India was so rich before the Britishers coming. It used to say the Sone ki chidiya, means the smoke of the gold used to come out. It was so rich. People were so happy and they were so satisfied. But then when the Macaulay came to India, he studied, then he went back and he told it's not possible for the Indians to give the money or things. They're already well settled. But then he told if two things, if we destroy this Vedic knowledge and if we destroy this cow culture and things, the Gurukul systems, then we'll introduce the modern education. Then surely they'll become helpless. They will become dependent upon us. Okay. So that's how slowly they started and presenting wrong way about the Vedas and things. And that's how completely the Vedic knowledge got destroyed. People lost their faith because they never heard from those. So Vedas should be understood from our teachers as we study about the science of engineering and technology. Same thing, Vedic knowledge also should be heard in a disciplic succession, as we said. Then will our faith will be clear. Then it will appeal very properly for us. Some of you can tell also, you do meditation every day, how all of you feel, right? It makes us feel very relaxed. It makes us feel mind very cool. It makes us very focused. It brings out the good wisdom into our life, correct? So how is it possible? Whereas you go for a movies or things and all, momentarily it may make us feel, but then again it causes a lot of distraction and things and many other side problems. So these are the power of the Vedic knowledge. So if you practice, if you study, and if you regularly attend the classes, what we are planning for all of you, then it will be bring out the good things. Yeah, many of you are asking about VC booklet. So let's see about the booklet now. Now I think with this introduction, we'll solve the booklets now. And because we spend the time in this, now you'll be able to easily complete the booklet question. It won't take much time. Even though I don't discuss, you will get the right answers now. Okay. So you're seeing the screen, booklet screen, is it visible? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So let's now quickly write the answers. Already we discussed now. It will not take just 2 minutes, you'll be able to complete. And then after that, your wish, if you want to leave, you can leave, or we can take a 15-20 minutes question answer session if anybody wants to ask. So though all the Vedic literature are coming from time immemorial, whereas they compiled them 5,000 years before. How many years before was Bhagavad Gita was spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjun? That is given in Bhagavad Gita 4.1. If you open that, you will get it the answer. The Vedic knowledge, it was coming from time immemorial, but the Vyasdev has written down for all of us. So Bhagavad Gita is also coming from that time. I mean, it is being written for all of us. So Bhagavad Gita, if you see that shloka 4.1, you'll come to know how it was so long back. It was being written so much long time. Yeah. So the 5,000 answer is correct because that time Veda Vyas has written down. Okay, he has written down that time. The knowledge was already available, but he has been written down for us. He made us available. So that time Bhagavad Gita was spoken actually to Arjun. But before Arjun, Lord Krishna had given knowledge to Sun God and many other personalities. That is being explained in that shloka 4.1. Let's go to the next. Which knowledge is complete and directly spoken by the Lord himself? What is answer? It's quick now, it's simple. Yeah, very good. Now all of you have understood. It's option A, Vedic knowledge. Okay. Then next, as we discussed, Vedas, they predict the future and they have predicted the appearance of the great personalities also. The Gautam Buddha, the Jesus Christ, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ashoka the great, correct? All those personalities are being already given in the Vedas before they come. And not only that, many great science also. We studied about Vastu Shastra, we showed you, embryology, we showed you, right? All those science is given into the Vedas, which now the modern science is able to realize. Okay. So now can you give the answer for this 37th? Which scripture should be taken as the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge? So because Vedic knowledge is so much. Yeah, this is a little tricky. If you go by option, you may get confused. But we want the question, if you read properly, which scripture should be taken as the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge? Yeah, actually answer is A, Bhagavad Gita. Because if you study only Vastu Shastra, there you will study only about construction of the house. Okay. If you study Yoga Sutra, then there you study maybe about yogas and all those things. But if you study Bhagavad Gita, God personally will reveal all the knowledge. Everything will come, everything will become understandable. So that's the answer A. And then this also we discuss how Indians lost their faith in the Vedas. This I showed you already. The Westerners, they came to India, and especially the Indologist, they gave the wrong representation. And the Macaulay we discussed, right? You are able to read here. Thomas Macaulay, who introduced this English education, and then that's how they destroyed complete faith on the Vedas. They gave the wrong interpretation. Okay, that's how the Vedic faith was got lost. Then what is the advice of the Lord for getting divine knowledge? That shloka is a 4.34. How we should get the divine knowledge in our life. Yeah, those who want to leave, they can leave. Time is already up. This recording will be available on the channel, VEC YouTube channel. So you can see that. But the answers are very simple now because all of you understood those things. When will we become eligible to understand that divine knowledge? One must strict very hard. One must gather knowledge of the whole world. One must approach a bona fide spiritual master. One must fast and follow strict. Correct. The answer B, all of you are writing. The answer is B. Because as I said, the technical knowledge, we have a teachers. So the Vedic knowledge, the divine knowledge comes from a spiritual teacher. Okay, the answer is B. Some of you are writing C, but that C is only M. We showed you MSC, okay? Matter, spirit, and controller of both. So if you see answer C, if you write, then you will get only the matter. It's not like a complete knowledge. One must strive very hard, but for what? How he will strive hard? Until he goes to the spiritual teacher, he will not be able to understand. So the answer is B. Okay, 38. And then sometime what happened, when we come across the spiritual teachers, we find many bogus gurus also, many wrong teachers also, who cheats us, who just for the sake of money, they will tell, okay, you give me the money, I will give the knowledge. But then they give the wrong knowledge, or many times the wrong scandals also happens. People, they do the wrong things with the people and all, correct. It happens. Even in the so-called the gurus also they do. So how to make sure that the teacher is proper or a bona fide? What are the options for this? Okay, so I'll show you the booklet. We have what we teach for our college students. I'll show you that booklet in which all the characteristics of the bona fide teachers have been explained very wonderfully. Okay, who is a genuine guru? You see here. I hope you are able to see the screen. Zoom it little. Yeah. So the first quality, the genuine guru, the good spiritual teacher or the authorized spiritual teacher, he speaks only about God, not that how to enjoy in this world and all that. So not like that. So to enjoy in this world, you can go to movies or things and all, okay. But the guru's business is not that. Guru's business is to teach about God, nothing else. Material world, there are problems always. The enjoyment comes for little, but then it gets lost. But the guru doesn't give such a cheap enjoyment, but he gives the true enlightenment that is about God. And the next, the guru must have sense control. Okay, there are many gurus who does the scandals with the opposite sex and all those things. They do the wrong things, but the guru should have sense control. This is another quality. The guru should be decorated with all saintly qualities. He should be tolerant, he should be humble, he should be well behaved. All the good qualities, the saintly qualities, the guru should have. Okay, and then not interested in increasing the cheap followers. Okay, because some guru, they do what they do. Okay, anybody can come to me. You can smoke, no problem. You can drink wine, no problem. Whatever you want, you can do. I accept you as my students. Then because they get more and more followers, but the guru's business is not for that purpose. Guru is not behind the cheap numbers only. Guru wants to teach the realities. Guru wants to teach the true things. Okay, so when Prabhupada went to America, Prabhupada told the people to follow the 4 regulatory principles. Okay, as a human being, as a knowledgeable people, we should follow those 4 principles into our life. No meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. So when Prabhupada went to abroad, there some of the people, they said, Prabhupada, you remove this illicit sex. The boys and girls, they can do whatever they want. Why you are doing those things? Other things, okay. You know what Prabhupada replied? Prabhupada said, I did not come here to flatter your senses. I came to here to tell you the truth. God wants to lead our life in a pure way. We should not indulge into those sinful activities. So if you want to practice, you practice. Otherwise, I am not here to accept you just like that. So that is quality of the guru. Okay. And then he does not bluff. He speaks from the scripture. He doesn't say, I think like that and all. You can also become God. I am also God. Not like that. He says what the scriptures are telling. He just repeat the scriptures. He is just representative of God. Okay. And then he collects the respect and worship on behalf of God. Many people, they worship God, correct? I mean, they worship the gurus and the saintly people, but he doesn't become proud because they are worshipping him only. No, he takes on behalf of God, and he offers all that puja and respects to God only. He just think himself as a representative, as a servant of God and as a servant of society. So these are the few qualities. Now, can you answer that, seeing those options for our question number 38? So I showed you sorry, 39, yeah. What are the things you can tick? Okay, there are many things, but I'll just say one by one, so that will make you clear. How can you identify a real spiritual teacher from the fake one? The first, he should be a master in the science of Krishna, correct? He should be knowing about God, then only he is a guru, otherwise not. So first option is correct. He should be born in a Brahmana family, need not to be. Okay, sometimes we may think, okay, he's born in a Brahmana family, then only he can be considered as guru. No. Like Prabhupada went to America, Americans were not born in Brahmana, there were no culture only. But Prabhupada gave them the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Now today they are the great sannyasis, they are the great gurus. So it's not by birth, it's by qualities. Like let's say engineering, can only Brahmana children can go? Can anybody tell? Does in the school they allow only Brahmana children, only engineering, only for Brahmanas? No, it's for all, correct? You qualify, you can also become engineer. Same way about the spiritual knowledge. It's not that the guru should be born only in a Brahmana family. Brahmana family helps us to develop good qualities, no problem. But then some are who are born into Brahmana family, but then they don't behave also like Brahmanas. Then we cannot call them. So by birth, it's not at all. So 4.2.8 and 4.34, you can read it about that. It will be more clear. So second option cannot be accepted. Then the third here, even if he's born in a low family, he should know the science of Krishna. Yeah, this is what we discussed, the third option. He is 100% Krishna conscious, correct? That's how, this is one of his quality. He is 100% God conscious. He knows about God. So the first and third and the fourth, and then the right side now, he should be an expert in all subject of Vedic knowledge. Okay, so yeah, this also. And if he studies Bhagavad Gita, he is considered as expert of all the Vedic knowledge naturally. And then he should be a Vaishnava, correct? Vaishnava means the one who is a devotee of Vishnu. Then only he can be a guru. Then this is third. This is also correct. Okay, once again I'll tell first, the third, the fourth, then here the fifth, and then the sixth, and then the what is seventh? He should be able to show how to do economic development. Can you tell this can be accepted or not now? Let me check whether you understood or not. He should be able to tell how to develop economy and material comforts. Yeah, obviously not. For that, you can go to MBA college. For that, you can go to all other training forums and all. Guru's business is not that purpose. Correct. Now you're understood. And then come to the below page. He should be coming in the line of disciplic succession. Correct. We discussed about that. Brahma, Narada, Vyasa. Correct. So that answer is correct. That can be accepted. He should have done independent study of various books of knowledge. See, here the word is used independent. That's why this is not correct. He should be studied in the disciplic succession. Not that. That's why the next also cannot be accepted. He should have created his own philosophy. No. He should just repeat the words, what Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita, then Brahma, Narada, Vyasa. He should repeat as it is. Okay. And then here on the top, he should have learned from a bona fide spiritual master. Correct. He should also have his bona fide teacher. He should have also his bona fide teacher. Then only he can be accepted as a true guru. Okay. So now all of you also students, you will also see many people, they talk about God. Many people, they speak about Bhagavad Gita. But we should not just go on external. We have to check where he is connected with. Is he connected in a bona fide sampradaya? We told last time, right? There are 4 sampradayas. Lord gave knowledge to Brahma, to Lakshmi, and to Shiva, and then Kumaras. So anybody connected to those 4 parampara, then only can be considered as authorized. If somebody is not, he's speaking his own himself, things like that, then he cannot be accepted. Then he may be speaking very nicely, but his knowledge is like what, empty gun. There are no bullets in the gun, but then the gun is making a noise. It's of no use. That knowledge will not bring out the good transformation into our life. Whereas he should be connected. So we have to check from whom we are hearing, from whom we are speaking. So whatever we are discussing with all of you, we have taken from this. If you see this question number 39, we have taken from the book Bhagavad Gita as it is. And Prabhupada himself is the author who is coming in the disciplic succession. And he led his life on the order of his spiritual master. And that's how I'm sure all of you are experiencing wonderful knowledge for your own life. All of you are attending so consistently. I'm sure you are finding the great wisdom for your life. How is it possible? Because we are just repeating the words as it is. That's why if you see our Bhagavad Gita book, what it is written below, Bhagavad Gita as it is. So that's how we have to be careful from whom we are hearing. It's important. As we are worried about our school education, who are the teachers, is the school is good or not, is the school is standard or not. Same thing about our spiritual education also we should worry. Okay. So maybe this question onwards, you can take, this you can count yourself. Okay, this is simple. Towards the end of the introduction, there are the teachers, the spiritual disciplic succession is given. So how many spiritual masters are there between Narad and Srila Prabhupada? That number you can count, you'll get the answer. That's simple. That's like a maths question. And then, maybe this one you can take. Yeah, that completes. 4 gurus approach you and preach to you as given below. Identify which guru amongst them is a genuine. Okay, this is a direct test for you now. Just now we discussed. How will you identify who is speaking genuinely? First option. If he's telling, I'll tell you a mantra by which you will realize that you are also God. Can you accept him as a genuine guru? Can you accept him as a correct guru? Good guru? No. Correct, not correct. Then B, by my austerities, I got mantra and I'll give you that mantra by which you will become a rich person. So can we think as a good guru for us? This is also not. Why? Because he is telling only about economic development. The guru's business is not for money purpose. Guru's business is about God. So B option cannot be accepted. C, I have learned from my spiritual master coming in a disciplic succession, a mantra which will solve all the miseries of life and will take you back home, back to Godhead. It will take us to God. So that's why option C can be corrected. Yeah. And then D, you just chant the mantra I have given you. Then if you want to eat meat or have illicit sex or do intoxication, it doesn't matter. Good now? What do you feel? Option D? Is it option D is correct? Obviously no. Yeah, so option C is only correct, because how can on the name of God, if you just take mantra and do all wrong things, then there is no character change. The result of practicing God consciousness, it should bring out the character change into our life. Okay. So thank you for joining with us. We little extended, but I hope, just to revise briefly, we studied the story about that scientist and a boatman, how the knowledge only of the material knowledge can't help us. Then we studied the example of matter, spirit, and controller of both. Whereas we compare the modern education and the Vedic education, and we studied how, if we refer to the modern text, what does it to us, and if we read the Vedic text, what it does to us. So if we really want to become free in our life, we really want to become fearless, then we should acquire the weapons of that divine knowledge for our life. Okay. And that's how we saw how Vedic knowledge is so vast. It gives Ayurveda, Vastu Shastra, and whatnot. All those science will be given. Yeah. Okay. And then we did this exercise. And then we saw how the spiritual teacher should be authorized, a bona fide. And who is that? Who talks only about God, who has no other business with the people that give me the money or you do whatever you want. No, he is not the true teacher. The true teacher is, he comes in a disciplic succession. Okay. So any question now? You can post your questions once again. We'll take the chat questions now. Those who want to leave, yeah, please leave. You can quit the meeting and you can leave. Okay.